Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be talking about the coronavirus and the latest updates on news. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is stem cell therapy is going into clinical trial of 86 patients in academic centers all around the country. So what is happening here is that these coronavirus patients are going to receive an infusion of stem cells from the human placenta, which is used to protect the fetus which is used in fetus to protect newborns from viral infections. And initial results will come out about 30 to 60 days later. And what is going to happen is that in the first study, there is going to be no placebo control group. But if this study seems successful, then there will be another further study which will have placebo control groups. So this is going to be produced by the company Cellularity, and this company has already done testing on stem cells for cancer patients. So now it is just going to continue into coronavirus patients. So this is just another case of treatment that is being experimented. Uh, why I brought this up to talk about is because Mr. Trump's personal lawyer, uh, Mr. Giuliani, has noticed this type of treatment and called it that it has large potential. So this is just more ways to help treat the coronavirus is being experimented, like chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine. So the second thing I'd like to talk about is that shockingly, over in just 2 weeks, 10 million US jobs have vanished because of the coronavirus, and 6.6 million Americans have already filed for unemployment benefits. So this is just really devastating to the world economy as the global economy is shuttering, and just the economy has never seen such worse unemployment filings since 1982 of 695,000 Americans filing for unemployment benefits. And so this just proves the harsh reality of what the coronavirus is doing to the economy. This is basically a war that we're fighting, except in some cases, even during a war, there's jobs. There's jobs that can boost the economy, but here there's basically it's just death, and you have to stay at home. You have to be absolutely just constrained. And I can, like, for these people whose families depend on their perhaps 1, 2, 3 jobs and to feed them, this is just really devastating, as maybe one person that is filing for unemployment benefits could mean an entire family behind it. Maybe this person's the only one working, and now that he's lost his job or she's lost his job, then this entire family is going to starve because they basically all dependent on this person. Now this person is jobless because of the coronavirus, and this just proves how everybody just needs to do their part for at least a few weeks and just stay still, practice social distancing, make sure you basically don't go out of the house, and try to stop this outbreak as quickly as possible. And as soon as we stop it, then the economy can recover again, as more stores will open and more consumers are getting out to spend their money. So the third thing I'd also like to talk about is that the FDA today approved the first antibody test for the coronavirus. So previously, I've also mentioned, explained all of them in my previous videos. You can go watch them. That they have all just been testing for the virus's DNA or RNAs, so that it can prove to be an ongoing infection. But here in this case, we're basically going to test for antibodies, which is the body's immune response. So when the body sees this attacking host, they will release immune cells, which would mass produce, I think, B cells mass produce antibodies. And since antibodies are usually more than the number of viruses there are, so this can actually it's quite effective, but the only delaying thing is that you need to draw blood from the vine, and this can only be done in a lab. So that could be delayable. But this is beneficial because now people can uh they can test for immunity, because if you have antibodies, then it kind of means that you fought it off and you have immunity now. And this is particularly important because now people with immunity can go show up the workforce, especially doctors and nurses need to know if they have antibodies, so that maybe they can just venture out and work more safely than those, and keep those who don't have antibodies home. And this is another benefit, is that it will also it can also test for uh for researchers to know the fertility rate and the actual number of asymptomatic infections, because currently scientists are guessing about 25% of all infected people are asymptomatic, which means they have the virus in their bodies but they aren't showing any symptoms. So with these antibodies, we can actually research out the number of uh, percentage of asymptomatic infections. That's it. Thank you for listening, and I hope you